YouTube, it's Tiana and you're watching Tiana's Dog Factory. Today we have a special guest. This is Dee Dee, my sister, and she's going to be reading off our college assumptions today for today's video. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. What's the first assumption?
All doors are locked once class starts.
None of the doors are ever locked. You can just walk in. It's going to be awkward to be late, but they're not locked.
College professors won't slow down. You have to learn to take notes quickly.
They will slow down because they still have to explain what is being projected and then the notes. And then if someone has questions, then they do have to take their time to go back and explain it.
You won't be able to leave the room during a lecture.
You can. I just recommend not. Like, if you're hungry, you can leave it, but at the same time, it's up to you. It's on you to get the material that you missed. Like, they're not going to be like, oh, let me go back for this one person. You're on your own.
Your professors will have assigned seats.
It's too many of us to have assigned seats. That is not going to happen.
You won't be able to exempt exams.
If you explain to your professor ahead of time that I have a family emergency or that you're sick and you let them know ahead of time, then you can be exempt. It has to be like a special case type of thing.
Everyone there will have the same background as you.
Absolutely not. Like, for example, my roommates, one of them was from Washington, D.C. One of them was actually from Atlanta, Georgia. And then one of them was from New York. So you never know where someone's coming from and what, their background entails.
You'll fit in with the other people on your course in the same class.
Just because y'all have the same major, that does not mean you're going to get along with everybody and have the same background. Like, there's always different spectrums of people because you're in college, so anybody can go.
You already know how to carry out an experiment or write an essay.
I know how to do what? No, I really don't. So when it comes to doing an essay, you have to like plan it out like in your head, and then maybe the teacher wants to see it. As far as the experiment goes, I haven't took a science class yet. I actually take that. I'm going to take that at some point. But they're going to explain to you how to do a science experiment. They're not just going to let you play with a whole bunch of chemicals and run off without directions.
You'll stay close to all your school friends.
That is not the case. Like, I thought I was going to stay friends with all my friends in high school, and we went to all these different states, different parts of Georgia and stuff. So we're cool with each other, but at the same time, we're not as close as we would have been if we're under the same building.
You'll continue to study in the same way despite the loss of structure.
That is not the case. So I have classes Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So that leaves Thursdays and Tuesdays and Saturday and Sunday open. But I also have one class on Tuesday. So you have to make time to study and come up with your own schedule, because the techniques you used in middle school or high school, they might not work the same way in college. It just depends on your technique.
No one will share your interests.
There's bound to be at least 3 people who share the same interests as you. Like, you're not going to be by yourself. Somebody else wants to do film. There's a film club. There's also a math club, a science club, and different little organizations for you. So it's not like you're completely by yourself.
Most students graduate in 4 years.
Okay, so that is not the case actually. It might take you longer. It depends on your major.
Majors set your future.
People change their majors all the time, and I've heard a lot of people say, I don't even use the stuff I majored in. I went down a completely different path, which is completely okay.
The college experience is a rite of passage.
Okay, as a college student, I feel like we're still trying to figure stuff out. This is like your first invitation to the real world. And since this is your first experience with the real world, you still have to learn how things work, like how you're going to transport yourself if you don't have a license or a car, how to save money, how to handle budgeting and stuff like that. Alright, what's the next assumption?
Most students graduate in 4 years.
Okay, so that is not the case. It sometimes takes a person longer depending on their major, and it might be shorter than that. You never know.
Majors set your future.
That's not case. It all depends on opportunity and the type of person you are. Because I've heard plenty of people say, I don't even use the stuff I majored in, which is okay, like as long as you're happy and doing what you love. But I've also heard people go on to follow through with what they majored in.
The college experience is a rite of passage.
I feel like that's a myth, but at the same time, it's not. I'll explain. So, the college experience, quote unquote, is a rite of passage in a way because it's like your first experience of the real world without there being too much of long-term harm depending on what you do. Like if you do credit cards and you max them out, then that's a whole nother story. You're just stuck and screwed. But it's your first experience in the real world and you're still trying to figure stuff out. Like figure out who you are as a person, figure out your style, figure out how the world around you works. But at the same time, I don't want you guys to feel like, oh, I have to go to college to be successful. I feel like if you have a foolproof plan, then you can be okay. Like if you want to get a license in cosmetology, you go right ahead, boo. I'm with it. If you want to, I forget what else you can get a license in, but there's plenty of things you can do that doesn't require you to go straight into college.
Community college is lesser than traditional college.
What you just said? Hold on, pause. Honestly, we gotta talk. So I actually go to a community college, and Georgia Gwinnett College I feel like was the best decision for me. It was cool, it was fine, it's not too expensive, and you really get the same amount of education just for like a different lower price. It's not that big of a deal, it's not that serious. If you go to a community college, it's still the same as an Ivy League or a HBCU or something like that. Yeah, they're differentiated for different reasons, but I feel like education wise, it depends on you as a person on how much work you want to put in and the quality of your education. Like, don't just downplay community colleges.
American schools are the best.
No, they are not. That's all I'm gonna say.
Private colleges are more challenging than public.
Nope. I feel like in public it actually is reversed. I feel like public is harder because everybody has a lot going on in situations. Sometimes they're underfunded. Sometimes we don't have the same resources as private schools. But if you're unmotivated, no matter what, whether it's private or public, you still have to take your own education seriously.
There's a lot of help available to pay for school.
Lies. There is a scholarship around every corner. You just have to know the right places to look for it. And you can talk to your financial aid and your counselors to get more money. Like there's different ways around to get more money. Scholarship. You should not be an indebted college student. You don't have to take out a whole bunch of loans. If that comes down to it, like you applied to all these scholarships and it didn't come back, that's different. But if you like really, really legitimately try, there's like 101 ways you could get scholarships. You just have to know the right people and look in the right places.
A college isn't good if it's not well known.
Nope. I have a 3.0 GPA at a community college. I'm good. Like, just because a college isn't well known, think about it. There's like over 100 colleges in a state. So not everybody is going to have room to be well known.
The secret is packaging yourself in meaning, portraying yourself as someone you aren't.
Lies. That's all lies.
Be able to get into a selective college.
So if you do poorly in 9th or 10th grade, I feel like because that's like your first part of high school, it doesn't hold up. Like, yeah, your GPA is screwed, but they really just look for your GPA and your ACT and SAT scores and then what you bring to the table. Like, it matters, but at the same time, there's other ways you can sell yourself.
You must decide on your career before college.
You don't. There's plenty of people that go into college and they say they're undecided. So that is an option. So I would recommend you, however, have an idea of what you want to do because that is a whole bunch of money. But if you're not sure, I would still say do it because you can learn and figure out what you want to do.
You should always attend the most prestigious college that accepts you.
No, that's the most money, and that's more money out of your pocket than you think. So that's a waste of money and a waste of time.
Liberal arts colleges do not have good science programs.
I can't speak for liberal arts because I go to a community college.
Only the best students receive financial aid.
That's a whole story. You could do bad in high school and still turn around in college and then start picking up money. Again, if you look in the right places and know the right people, then you can find a way to learn about different scholarships and opportunities.
It's better to get good grades than take challenging courses.
It depends on the person you are. So if you have to take that class at some point, then yes. But if you feel like you can do better taking smaller classes like 4 or 5 versus taking 7, then I would recommend you take the 4 or 5 now than to fail those 7 because then you're wasting money.
Standardized tests are more important than high school grades.
I feel like they're about even because your grades over time, that's what they're looking at. Like they're trying to see what type of a student are you. Like, can you handle rigorous courses? Can you handle harder material? And standardized tests, they're just like, you take the course and they're gonna ask you random parts about the course. Like they have different standards. So I feel like they're about even, if you get what I mean.
If you haven't heard of a college, it's not good.
That's a story. I didn't know what Georgia Gwinnett College was until like January of my senior year. So you never know what could be best for you. It depends on what you need. Like some of us need a smaller environment, which is a-okay. But don't feel like you have to spend a whole bunch of money to have a good education. A community college is the same as having a degree from Harvard, if you ask me. It depends on what you want to major in and if your school offers it. So don't feel like you have to go to some prestige college and waste money.
The best time to visit a college is after you've been admitted.
Stories, lies. Look, if you're going to go to a college or you're thinking about going to a college, that needs to be one of the first things that you do. Like you've applied, now you need to do a college tour and see if the school is right for you. If you get homesick easily like I do, then you don't need to be going out of state. Like, truth be told, I was trying to go to South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, Alabama, but I get homesick easily. That's not a deal breaker, but then you also have to think about out of state tuition. So you don't have to go far. You will know, like, I don't know how to explain it, but you will feel like a campus is right for you, whether you live there or not. You can just feel in your body like, this is a school for me. If it lines up with what your needs and wants are, and you feel at home on a campus, then that means it's for you, and you're just gonna feel it.
Large universities have greater diversity.
No. I mean, because there's a larger campus, I can see how you could believe that, but at the same time, that's why I say you need to go on campus and do a college tour. You can see people walking around the campus, so you can see what type of environment you're about to be invited into. Action.
Most students graduate in 4 years.
That is not true. It depends on how many classes you take at a time, and it also depends on your pacing. Like some majors require more credit.
Okay, I was kind of glad that.
No, stop. I said stop. It's over the button. Alright.
Most students graduate in 4 years.
Okay, so that's false. It depends on your major. It's going to take you longer because there might be different requirements, and then based on your school. It also takes like your pacing, because typically I guess they want you to take like 7 classes to start off with and continue taking like 7 classes, but if you can only handle 5 classes, then it's going to take you a little bit longer. So not fall up under that category, it is still okay if you graduate in 5 or 6 years, or if it takes you longer, just as long as you get your diploma.
Majors set your future.
Don't worry about it. It's cool. All right. So,
Most people graduate.
what is it blinking like that for? You little monster.
Won't be able to get into a selective college.
So, if you do poorly in 9th or 10th grade, I feel like because that's like your first part of high school, it doesn't hold up. Like, yeah, your GPA is screwed, but they really just look for your GPA and your ACT and SAT scores, and then what you bring to the table. Like, it matters, but at the same time, there's other ways you can sell yourself.
You must decide on your career before college.
You don't. There's plenty of people that go into college and they say they're undecided. So that is an option. So I would recommend you, however, have an idea of what you want to do, because that is a whole bunch of money. But if you're not sure, I would still say do it, because you can learn and figure out what you want to do.
You should always attend the most prestigious college that accepts you.
No, that's the most money, and that's more money out of your pocket than you think. So that's a waste of money and a waste of time.
So, y'all.